Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. I was about to go right into intros, but we aren't supposed to do that quite yet. So make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, and share it with your friends. Clearly, I am feeling the Friday vibes. My mind is already on the weekend. Here's the Fumble Squad, you guys. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @Devin Howard. Chris?
It's your boy Chris. You can find me everywhere at CK2K.
Hey everybody, it's Jackie Ray. You can follow me everywhere at JRay the Fanatic.
Hey guys, it's your girl Britt Johnson. You can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson. Devin, I am right there with you, so I'm feeling it. Friday feels, So I apologize in advance, y'all. I apologize in advance.
Me too. I know. Me too. Clearly, I'm going to need to apologize because I stumbled through that intro today, even though I have that memorized in the back of my hand. I'm struggling. Well, thankfully, it is the weekend coming up right now. So let's get into the news, all right? We'll talk about the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard. So Kawhi Leonard, we know him as this quiet, low-key guy, but apparently among his teammates, he has a little bit of a diva reputation, and a lot of them are holding grudges about the way he took advantage of his clout. This is all according to a report by The Athletic. In the report, it says, quote, players like Patrick Beverley, Montrezl Harrell, and Lou Williams, Clippers bedrocks before the arrival of Leonard and George, bristled when Leonard was permitted to take games off to manage his body and to live in San Diego, which often led him being late for team flights, league sources said. The team also allowed Leonard to dictate to Doc Rivers when he could be pulled from games, among other things. So the team was obviously not only frustrated with Kawhi, apparently there was friction with Paul George too. The Athletic said, quote, in the post-game locker room Tuesday night, George was preaching to teammates to remain committed, for all the players to return to the team this offseason and stay ready to make another run. It was met by some eye rolls and bewilderment, sources said, because George did not back up his words with action in the series, and the team has multiple free agents with decisions to make. Obviously, we talked about how Ty Lue is the Clippers' new head coach. Kawhi and Paul George were both consulted on this move, but neither of them want to say in the final decision. So some people are saying that maybe Ty Lue is going to create a shift that they need with the Clippers players, but we'll have to see about that. I know all of us here on the panel are not thrilled with that move. So, but that's just what I'm seeing online. So Britt, of course, I have to go to you, our resident Clippers fan here on the panel. What is your reaction to this news? And do you buy that there really is friction with the team and Kawhi and Paul George?
Listen, a great coach, Jimmy Johnson, once said that if a star player in a meeting falls asleep in the meeting, guess what? I'm going to go over to him. I'm going to tap him on his shoulder. I'm going to say, wake up. But if a scrub or second stringer, third stringer guy falls asleep in a meeting, he's going to say, excuse me, sir, you're cut from the team. And that is just the difference. Like, if you are a star player, you just get things like that. Stuff like that gets to happen. Like, we've talked a million times about, little stuff. People get mad that LeBron gets this extra chair or whatever. Well, it's LeBron James. Like, Jackie's always like, that's LeBron. Of course, he's the king, right? So for the Clippers, Kawhi and PG are the best players on the team. And of course, they're going to get better treatment than guys that aren't. Just because you've been there longer, it doesn't mean anything. It's a what have you done for me lately time. And Kawhi was just coming off a championship with the Raptors and stuff like that. So, and he was coming off before that, the injury that he had with the Spurs that sidelined him for almost a year. So I think in those situations, you just have to, you're not that guy. I'm sorry. Like the guy that is that guy, you're mad at him for taking advantage of those moments. Like, it's just going to happen. It happens with every team. Star players just get star treatment, and some people don't want to accept it or realize it. You'll be in situations where people think oh, well, all of us should be treated equally. Well, that's not the case. That's not basketball. That's not sports. And if you are a scrub or you're not a star player, then you're not going to get the same treatment that a star player does. And that's just the way it works. Like, we all can't be just equally treated in a job situation or in a whatever situation. The most valuable player is going to be treated with more value. They do not want to have him hurt. They want to have him healthy and have him be able to play in an entire series or happy to whatever. Because free agency last year was all about Kawhi Leonard. Literally, the Raptors were trying to fly him out. They had red carpets rolled out for him and all this because they were trying to make sure they secured him. And the Clippers had to do and say what they had to say in order to make sure they were able to secure him on the team and with the squad. And so they just were living up to what whatever deal that they made with them.
So, Jackie, my next question is for you. Do you feel that it's necessary for Ty Lue to come in and manage Kawhi and Paul George, or are you with Britt and you think that superstars should be able to get away with I can see you laughing over there. So just,
Ty Lue, I'm sorry.
I am trying to hold it together. I'm just going to jump in because I can't. I don't think, is it up to Ty Lue? Look, Ty Lue is not that guy. You know what I mean? He's just, his personality is not big enough. His resume is not big enough. His voice isn't big enough. His ego's not big enough. Nothing about, he's not actually, size ain't big enough. Right. Nothing about Ty Lue is big enough to handle this situation. This is David and Goliath, where Goliath will actually win. This is not the look. I think what Ty would do if he had that in him. I agree with Britt. I think, because I've said it all the time when people say, "Well, LeBron got this," I'm like, he's LeBron James, but I think LeBron balances it out much better than Kawhi does, because there was that one time where we saw Marcus Morris on the sideline kind of playing with Kawhi, and Kawhi wanted no parts of it. That same thing happens with LeBron. LeBron engages with his teammates. They're joking on the sidelines. He has them over for Taco Tuesday. You see them jaw-jacking on. They're actually, he's very invested in building a relationship with his teammates, whereas Kawhi kind of plays the game, goes home to San Diego. You know what I mean? So it's not like he even has that opportunity. So if Ty was big enough to really get into this situation, the first thing he would do is check Kawhi. I understand that you are the star on this team, but I need you to not just be the star as far as like the outside looking in. You need to be the star amongst your teammates as well. You need to lead by example. So there's some things that you've gotten away with thus far that you're not going to get away with. Do I think that there's a snowball's chance in hell that Ty is going to challenge Kawhi in any way? Absolutely not. So I think it's just going to be business as usual. I think he's going to ask Kawhi really nicely, like, "Hey, man, do you think that maybe you can move a little closer?" And Kawhi's going to be like, no. And that's going to be the end of that. And there's not going to be any more conversation. It's just going to be business as usual. So I don't think Ty is cut out for this at all. And I don't think anything's going to change anytime soon.
Yeah, I wonder though, like, 'cause it is conflicting, because I did a whole story about Lou Williams talking about Kawhi was the funniest person at practice. He leads the group chats, like he's the one that started the group chat for all the teammates, and he's like super funny in there and super engaging. So I don't know what happened. Maybe just the lack of what happened in the fourth quarter of that last game, that like people are now trying to like make bigger situations or trying to talk about stuff. And because Trez is going to be a free agent and stuff like that, and they want to keep Trez because that's their boy and all that kind of stuff. So I think they're stirring up more stuff, because I do remember before, like, Lou Will did this whole thing about how, no, Kawhi really is fun, and he's such a good teammate, and he's this, that, and the third, and he's the one that like always talks to us in the group chats and always is messaging us about different stuff. So I don't know, it's like it's conflicting stories, but the storyline is different because we didn't end in a championship, and before we were supposed to win a championship. So I think they're trying to stir up a little something too.
I can see Kawhi being good in a group. I can see him being good in moments where he doesn't actually have to interact. I think the disconnect probably comes in the face-to-face, because I actually know people like that. When you get them on the chat, it's like laughing and talking, but then you get them like at happy hour, and then happy hour isn't so happy anymore, and all of a sudden you want your text ready to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I literally know
somebody like that. But
I did.
That's so funny.
Somebody put a picture of somebody came in Chris's head right there.
Yeah, no, because she's right. I know those guys too. It's just like, yo, what the? You're not the same guy. Like, what's going on? No,
like, check please.
Right. Yeah.
So, Chris, that actually brings me right into the question that I wanted to ask you. What is your takeaway about this report? Do you think that it's partially fabricated or made to seem more dramatic than it actually was? Because like Britt said, in the past, we did hear that Kawhi was like, the fun guy. And I don't know. Now hearing that he's kind of like on a power trip seems different. So what's your takeaway from all of that?
I took two things away. 100%. I always believe a little bit of that last part, like you're saying. I do think it was a little bit more overblown because it is the Clippers, it is Los Angeles. The Lakers just won a championship. It's just easy money to do that. So I do think it's a little bit fabricated to an extent. But what I also took away, and I'm not one to really say much negative about the Clippers, but this one was a bit different to me because I felt the type of way that, and Britt was saying it lightly, but I'm going to go a little bit. I think the Clippers, for a team that you feel like they should know what their roles are, like, Lou Will is like the ultimate six man. He knows that that's his role. But to have some of these other players to be really upset if this is true about Kawhi Leonard doing that was a red flag for me. And that's why I feel like the Clippers should not be as upset making some moves if they don't decide to bring back Montrezl Harrell or other signings along with that, because that's not a good sign if these guys can't understand how that team works. Look, the Raptors did the exact same thing that the Clippers were not able to do last season. Kawhi, nothing changed. The only thing that was different was he just wasn't in San Diego, so he might have been a little bit closer, but I guarantee the situation was the same. If Kawhi said he was not going to play this game, Nick Nurse and the team was not going to let him play, and the team was cool with it. They went out there and they did the damn thing. When Kawhi was back, they did the damn thing, vice versa. So that raised a little bit of a red flag for me for that team and the build. Like, I understand the Clippers last year, the story was tremendous. It was great, and you think just like on paper, slotting these two dudes on the team, boom, instant championship. I bet that as well. But hearing this kind of stuff now, it kind of makes a little bit more sense why there's that chemistry issue throughout the entire season. It just feels like guys just didn't entirely know their true role on the team. So yeah, 100%.
Your role.
But you have an entire off season though. You could literally turn this whole thing around. Couple of boys' nights out. You have an entire off season for that. This doesn't have to be the end all be all for this.
But if that eye roll stuff with Paul George is real, I don't know.
Right. I think it's the other guys that need to humble themselves because y'all
That's what I'm saying.
Stars.
That's what I'm saying.
Y'all gotta learn what your role is, and you got to play that role. That's what you have to do. You got to be. Yeah. Y'all ain't even Scottie Pippen, but Scottie knew his role and he played it because he would have been the star player on any other team, but he played his 100%. Role. Kyrie got in his own way because he didn't want to be second fiddle to LeBron James.
Brooklyn's about to be getting interesting.
Play their role in that moment, especially when the end all be all goal is to win a championship.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Well, talking about teams with championship aspirations, I know they all do, but the Rockets in particular, they're going through some major changes right now, and they are focusing on getting whatever they can to be a title contending team next season. So recent rumors actually say that Houston is shopping for a big star this offseason, and they're willing to offer pretty much their entire roster except James Harden for whoever that person is. They have their eyes on Joel Embiid. So their belief is that they need to have a versatile big man like Joel to work well with and complement James Harden and help them win games. So in addition to searching for a new coach, they're also going to be, I guess, trying to get Joel Embiid. Chris, do you see Joel and James Harden duo working out well for the Rockets? And what do you think Joel's proven with the Sixers that makes him seem worth giving up, the farm on the Rockets?
Well, when Joel Embiid wants to play basketball, he's definitely probably the best center in the league for sure. I mean, Jokic is probably toe-to-toe with him, but when Joel Embiid actually decides that he wants to win and play basketball, he's easily probably the best at his position. And to be honest, I don't know if I'm the minority here, but I like it both ways. Me and Jackie have said that if we were to move one of the two, if one of the two were to leave, it would be Joel Embiid. I still believe that. I feel like if they make a move where they are giving up the farm, where it's, all their, the Eric Gordons, Robert Covington's draft picks, I think that is a situation that helps out both teams because I do like James Harden and Joel Embiid because James Harden loves to step back, tippy-toe, trip quadruple, somersault around the three-point line, while Joel Embiid loves to be in the paint. They stay out of each other's way, and it's a better dynamic than Ben Simmons, who was not stepstone, everything I just said, at the three-point line. They both need to be in the paint. So the dynamic of the two players, I think, would make more sense. And then if you're getting shooters that are playing like 3-and-D guys to surround around Ben Simmons, I think you can get, especially with Doc Rivers, who is really good at, as we saw with the Clippers, he's really good at utilizing players to play their role and do what they have to do. I mean, outside this last season, but guys that are, 3-and-D shooters that are going to spread the court and let Ben Simmons cook and get people open, that's a better situation to me on both ends. Al Horford's probably going to look like a better player than he did last year. So personally, I like it. If this is a true statement, I think that that's something that should go on, but I also believe that they're going to have to trade the entire Rockets team, including the Toyota Center, to get Joel Embiid.
Damn, the Toyota Center too.
They gotta trade it all. Everything gotta go. Everything gotta go. Hakeem statue and everything
Jackie,
gotta go.
Damn.
So, Jackie, what I want to hear from you is, do you think that the Rockets need to be focusing right now on finding the right new head coach as opposed to another player?
No, you focus on it all. You know what I mean? There, you have a need on both fronts. You focus on both of them. That's why everybody has a job. You know what I mean? So I understand that Houston needs a coach and everything, and typically that would this whole movement thing would be a tandem between the head coach and the GM. But you can't focus, because what'll happen is you focus too hard on getting your head coach, and then free agency happens, and all of a sudden what you thought you might have a chance at is no longer viable anymore. So you focus on everything right now, and you get it done if you can. I'm with Chris, though. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I'm nostalgic, but I just definitely don't want to see the James Harden-Russell tandem depart, because it's been okay. You've never liked it, but I don't. You never liked them together?
No.
Really?
I didn't. No. Mm-mm.
I miss it. I mean, I think when it came about, I thought, it's funny that people won't even remember that this wasn't their first time together and they actually started together. But, and then, but I'm okay with them doing the Joel thing, just for exactly what Chris said. One of the biggest problems I have with a lot of these big guys is their straight up fear of the paint. Joel is not that guy, which I think makes him so vital. So yeah, no, if they have to bet the farm to get him, it'll mess up my nostalgia moment, but it'd be worth it for the team. But you definitely focus on both. You try to attack both fronts right now.
Mm-hmm. And then Britt, finally, I want to hear from you. Do you think that it's worth giving up everything to pursue Joel Embiid, or do you think that could backfire on the Rockets?
I mean, I think, you at this point, and it's easy to give, like he mentioned, Chris mentioned Eric Gordon. I know Eric Gordon signed with the Rockets in 2014, so he actually might be a free agent this year. I don't know if he is still on his contract. He only has 1 year left, so that is I think more so that's what people like about trading and stuff like that, is just like, okay, let's get this guy. He's a really good shooter. Let's bring him in for a year. We know Eric's kind of been injury prone throughout his career. So if he can do something for us real quick, if we're just trying to really quickly get in there and win a championship, and then later we'll figure out what happens later. So yeah, I think they have some moves that they could make in order to not necessarily lose their entire team. But obviously we've been talking about it for the last couple months about that small ball not working. So you got to do something, and it literally needs to be blow up that team and start over again. But it is, right now you can't really do anything, because we also remember yesterday their GM stepped down. So who is going to make any of these decisions about what the team's going to look like? They don't have a GM. They don't have a head coach. Get one.
Yeah, they don't have a coach. They brought up the assistant GM to take over.
Yeah.
The assistant GM is taking over as the head GM, but they don't have a coach. Yeah.
Okay.
But they still don't have a coach. So you're not wrong. You're still on though. You're right, because they still gotta make decisions until you have a coach. So you're not completely wrong. Still.
Yeah, and you don't know
right, because if the GM does it,
how they cover, who they play, how they build teams together the best, this, that, and the third. So I feel like a coach is definitely something they need to worry about now. And obviously they can't really do anything with free agency yet. So they're good in that moment. Just get your coach, figure that out real quick, and move along. Sam Cassell is still available, y'all.
Right. Well, it seems like in the chat seems to strongly disagree with Chris and I. They or at least the one.
No, he's a Sixer fan. He's a Sixer fan. Yeah, he loves his Embiid. I get it. I understand.
You keep Joel and you ship off Ben. I don't.
Yeah, well, that's what I've always said. I've always been opposite of you guys, because I always would rather keep Joel Embiid and get rid of Ben Simmons. I'm sorry, there's too many other point guards and forwards that you could have that actually know how to make a 3-pointer. So that ain't that valuable to me.
Just what?
Okay, you guys, we are a couple minutes over on Need to Know News. So, Chris, I'm going to hand it over to you for the post-up.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Post Up with your boy Chris, quarantine edition on this fine Friday. And we are going to be starting off for not the third day in a row. We're not going to start off with LeBron James today, but we're going to start off with his good pal, Dwayne Wade, because I'm sure by now you guys have probably seen these photos because Dwayne Wade was just strolling on the beach where he so happened to photobomb a proposal going on the beach, and the picture of him noticing it was the funniest thing, as you guys saw just now. Then he's like, oh my god, and then he went up and then took the picture with the couple. But then the groom to be right there in the middle, he captured the first pic or this picture, put it on his IG story, and he added the caption saying, Dwayne Wade, you and Gab Union are getting an invite to the wedding. So I think that'd be cool if this story completed and then they did end up going to the wedding. That would be a hilarious turn of events. I mean, you're retired now, Dwayne. You can go ahead, man. Just throw the dude a bone, go to the wedding. It'll be a fun story. See how that goes. But yeah, I thought that was just a funny moment. Like, imagine the cameraman taking pictures of the proposal and then just zooming, because you can see like she's there like reacting to whatever's happening, and then you just see Dwayne Wade in the back. I thought the whole thing was great. I love that.
I want to see his face, like when he's like, "Will you marry?" Oh my God, it's Dwayne Wade.
It's Dwayne Wade.
like totally didn't finish with the me. Like, will you ma?
Oh
I want to see if that happens. Just say yes. Just say yes and turn around. Say yes and turn around.
Yes. Hurry before he gets away. Hurry. Yes or no? Come on. Yeah, I thought that whole thing was funny. Something else that was funny to me was JaVale McGee. Now, JaVale McGee, obviously being one of the only vloggers in the bubble, left because all the other ones, Matisse is gone and other players that were doing their vlogs, their teams have bounced. But JaVale McGee, who's been one of the few players that have been vlogging in the NBA bubble, he released his more recent vlog, which had more of a behind-the-scenes vibe of the NBA, the Lakers championship run. And one of my favorite moments from the entire vlog was LeBron disciplining Delario B for cheating on him for the last 4 years, and it's just hilarious. Here's that video.
Hell yeah. I can't believe you cheated on me for the last 5 years. You're dirty, you got the last 4 years. What is wrong with you? Your ass home when the lights come on.
Home when the lights come on.
So cute.
LeBron's wild, man. I love that so much. Yeah, go watch the vlog. JaVale McGee's entire vlog was cool to see some behind the scenes for Laker fans. I'm sure you'd enjoy that. His vlogs throughout the entire thing was pretty cool. But yeah, that moment, I thought that was hilarious. LeBron James just being LeBron James. I thought that was comedy. And something else is comedy. I know you may have hung up the the pettiness, Miss Britt Johnson, but you know who didn't? Your boy Damian Lillard. Because Damian Lillard, ever since the bubble has ended, he has had time, because I feel like we have talked about quite a few of these clapbacks, and he has some more here today. Just out of nowhere, just unnecessary clapbacks. But I mean, people who get them deserve them, I guess. So I guess it's not unnecessary. But man, Damian Lillard felt the type of way. See that's Damian Lillard out there honking right now. I don't know who that is, but that's Dame right there. But
I'll be right out.
Right. He's like, get to my tweet, bro. All right, I got you, Dame. All right, so we're going to get to the tweet. So he had a person that tweeted at him that, had thrown some shade, talking about, you will never see a ring, my boy, give it up. Where Damian Lillard responded to him, flamed him a little bit with, I've got a better chance of seeing that than you have at a lot of things, player. I can live with it. It's like, golly, he didn't get specific, but still, you ain't got to come out of his whole life like that, knowing that he's probably sitting there with Cheeto dust on his chest, tweeting this out. I felt that for Lil Sid, man. That was disrespectful.
City of Hope.
Yeah, well, keep on hoping, because Dame just got your whole life right there. To the point where that tweet was, in fact, deleted. This we had to, thankfully, our producer was able to find it, because the tweet has been deleted by Sid, because he was probably going to collecting himself after that flame. But then this one right here, shout out to the person who tweeted at Damian Lillard, and shout out to Damian Lillard for getting back to him on day one. But this Suns fan was trying so hard. He's like, day one of asking Damian Lillard to join the Suns, and my man Dame hit him back with it's a no from me. I mean, at least he hit him right away. It didn't take Ian that many days. Imagine he's like day 45 trying to get to him, and Damian Lillard, he responded on day one. So I respect that, but damn. I mean, that hurt me too. I'm sorry, Ian. And look at him still holding on to that 8-0 season. Look at him holding on to that. I get you. I see you. I would do the same thing. But look, I get it. I'm a Knicks fan. If we did that in the bubble too, yeah, I would held on to that for the rest of my life, for real. But yeah, Damian Lillard had the time. He had the time. And you know who else had the time? Snoop Doggy Dogg had the time to go on Undisputed to talk with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless about the championship that the Lakers just wrapped up. And of course, the conversations then in perfect Laker fan fashion went into what the Lakers are going to do next and who they're bringing in next. Because Lakers fans, I don't really hate of it because, you know, Laker fans are never, their thirst is never quenched. I'm cool with that. I get that because, you know, when you win it, you want to keep winning to an extent. But my man Snoop Dogg, he came out there and he started that whole rumor that Britt had brought up yesterday. But of course, he turned it to the Lakers because since the whole house being bought in LA, he took that into the Lakers' perspective rather than Britt, who was talking about the narrative around the Clippers. But Snoop and Shannon Sharp ran away with it, and here was that clip from Undisputed.
We'll be there every year that he's here.
And we're gonna bring some pieces in. Don't think
Get it out, Shannon.
We not set.
Hey, you know Bradley Beal just moved to LA, huh?
Oh, if we get Bradley Beal, it's over for the next 3 years.
How are you gonna fit him under?
Don't worry about it.
Somebody got to
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Watches this show.
Yeah, I'm so mad that they cut off. Let's skip his line out, but yeah, whatever. But we have a response, and it wasn't from Bradley Beal, but it was from the next best person. Wifey came in and responded to this whole entire clip, so this made Laker fans lose their little minds because they saw this, and Kamaya, I don't know how to say her name, she responded with a bunch of laughing emojis to that same clip we just watched. Laker fans were like, oh, it's happening, it's true, they gonna do it, oh! I don't know. I think, look, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But Jackie Ray, talk to me. I know I heard you in there going and loving what was going on between Shannon. So talk to me. Do you really feel, because we heard Britt talk about that Clippers rumor, she's not buying it. She's thinking that that's not going to happen. Yeah. She wants it because of the Washington, I don't want to say curse, the Washington blessing is what we're going to call it. But do you think that there is a possibility that the Lakers could do a Rockets and trade half the house to bring in Bradley Beal?
I mean, she said "unk" like that, and with all them smiling faces, like, so. I don't know. It made my. I'm not saying I'm buying it. I'm saying I'm putting a down payment on it in case you know. So in case I have to buy it later, but I never really co-signed. Huh?
I was just gonna say, so you have stock in the possibility, but not in the fact that it's gonna happen. I understand it. I get it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely would be like, you know, I'd do another happy dance. But there's gonna be so many more rumors that happen before free agency is gonna happen.
Yeah, they're already going wild.
And like only a sixth of what we think is gonna happen is actually gonna happen. I don't know. I don't know, but I am smiling right now at the thought of it, especially if Britt's right on how that usually goes. That's 2 in the tank, baby. I'm with
Trust me, I get it. You know, as a Knicks fan, the whole entire All-Star team is supposed to be a Knicks, according to Mark Berman. I'm hearing that Russell Westbrook's supposed to be traded, Chris Paul's supposed to be traded. Now we got Brandon Ingram's going to be fine. All of them. Paul George, there was that rumor. I'm just like, yo, if y'all don't stop doing this, because now we're going to keep getting clowned on. But anyways, look, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I like the Chris Paul rumors a little bit better for the Lakers, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, maybe you guys get the blessing, or maybe the Clippers get the blessing. Either way, we heard the stat, and I'm sure that Bradley Beal would be a great piece for either one of those LA teams if he moved to LA to be in LA for an LA team.
And then he can hang out with all of the Lakers because we all live here. He don't have to travel to San Diego to get some time with.
I'm leaving that one alone. We're going to move on to somebody that Jackie Ray and a lot of other Laker fans have been flaming, and that is none other than Danny Green. Danny Green has been hearing it left, right, up, down, all around, everywhere. People have been giving Danny Green the most crap, even though this man is a back-to-back champion. But, I mean, you know, some key shots were missed by Danny Green. Some of it was warranted. Death threats were not, but a lot of it came back. But at the same time, then this story was coming out where one of his close homies, Lil J, who was on Twitter, he shared a whole post about how Danny Green was one of the few people to help him continue to be motivated to continue going, because for the last few months has been really rough for him because because of the passing of his father. But thanks to Danny Green, who was regularly checking up on him, Danny Green, who was had a tribute to his father throughout the finals, who had his father's name on his shoe. Danny Green was a person that was keeping him going. If we can get those pictures up, yeah. So he had this long message. I'm not gonna pull it yesterday, but it was a pretty heartfelt message, to the point where he was thanking Danny Green and everything he had to do and everything he was going through, and still was being there for him and his family, and congratulating him on that. And as you can see on his shoe, you see the Ramiro on there, and that was his father's name. Look at Danny Green cheesing with the championship trophy. And then just forget the next picture. That's him FaceTiming him right there, talking to his boy and showing some love. So I love that. Cool gesture for sure. We talked about Avery Bradley yesterday. You never know what's going on behind the scenes with a lot of these players and the stuff that they're carrying with them while they're doing a lot of the stuff we talked about with Paul George. All kinds of players. Now, I'm not going to completely say here that we need to stop clowning players and clowning people, because that's just human nature, I also feel like. But at the same time, when people are talking about death threats and stuff like that about a game, you never know what people are going through behind the scenes. So shout out to Danny Green for having Lil Jace back in a time like that. And it's cool that he was a big figure to him like he was in all of that. So moving from that, now we have a bit of a debate that we're going to have. Hopefully it's not going to take too long, but we've talked about this kind of, sort of, from time to time. I mean, we've talked about it as far as how he is, and if he's in your top 10 for current players. But now the conversation is coming up if Steph Curry is a top 10 player of all time. Now, NBA Retweet is a NBA account that puts up a lot of questions and a lot of posts from things that are going on. But they raised this question right here to ask the question that if Steph Curry is a top 10 player and what it would take, and if Steph Curry wins one more MVP, one more championship, and another Finals MVP, will he be a top 10 player of all time? Which led a lot of conversations, a lot of back and forth on Twitter. So I want to quickly go through the panel right now with knowing what he has right now. Do you think he is a top 10 player all time? And if not, do you think, like this post said, do you think winning all those things that they said is enough to get him a top 10 player, or is he just going to fall short? Devin, I'm starting with you. Steph Curry, is he a top 10 player, or does he need those things to become a top 10 player of all time? Talk to me, Devin.
I don't know. I don't know if I would consider him in top 10 of all time.
Okay, and if he does all those things, is he top 10 to you, or that's still not enough?
Gosh, I don't know. I wish I knew you were going to ask me about this beforehand, so I could have thought about it a little more. But I don't know. I don't know that I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe that's being too harsh.
Think that'd be enough? No, I don't think that'd be harsh. Jackie Ray, talk to me. What you thinking? You think he is there right now, or do you think that those added things will put him in top 10, or that's not even enough either?
I think he's definitely top 10 right now. And the reason why I say that is because the style of play between him and Klay has been what other teams have really tried to adapt their teams to fight against. You know what I mean? So some try to replicate, some just figure out a way to slow it down. So when you have been instrumental in literally changing the way the entire league plays, then you can't sleep on that. So I'm definitely going to put him in the top 10 right now.
Yeah, sounds like a LeBron James fan talking about impact. I get that. I think that's a great argument for sure. Britt Johnson, so we're 1-1 right now. How you feeling? Do you think he's a top 10 right now, or you think he needs those little bit of accolades to make that bump?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even a thought to me. He definitely is a top 10 right now, because of exactly what Jackie said. He changed the game, the way that basketball is played now, and the three, which is potentially, I keep saying, him and Dame Lillard are going to start the 4-point line. The way that he has played is literally changed everybody's level to level up. And now we're worried, talking about Ben Simmons. Does Ben Simmons know how to shoot a three? No, he doesn't. Oh, he's not that great. Then literally everything is compared off of that now because of Steph Curry. And then remembering him from Davidson and being this big underdog, and even his first, 3-4 years in the NBA, then become the player that he is now, and just to see him develop and stuff. Definitely. I had no thought in my mind. He definitely is now, whether he doesn't win anything else the rest of his career.
Okay, I respect that. I think I'm siding more with Devin, though. He's right outside my top 10 for sure, but I think at the end of the day, when his career is done, I do believe, because of what you guys said, and I do think that he is not done getting some more trophies of some sort. I do think at the end of the day he will definitely be in the top 10. But for me, right now, he's not in there yet, but he's very close. So I'm gonna side with Devin on that. So 2-2. But I do
But you
love
realize that if it wasn't for him, we would think Ben Simmons is just a dope ass player because we wouldn't be tripping off the threes like that. It's literally because of him that we look at players differently now. That doesn't automatically, the fact that he started an entirely different conversation doesn't put him squarely in the top 10. He could be 10, but he got to be in there, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But to me, if anything, I'm telling you, he's at that 11, 12 because I just feel like, yes, I get that impact. He's right there for me. I just don't know because we're not going to spend time talking about our top 10s. And when I looked at my top 10, he's right there, but I can't put him in that top 10 because of other names I have. But yes, everything you're saying is completely correct. But then you got to remember the other names. This is all time. Not in the league right now. This is all time. So he's right there.
This is just looking at the fact that you're looking at people who's probably at least 8 of your top 10 has already completed their NBA career and done.
And that's why I said I'm gonna wait. That's why I'm saying I'm gonna wait. Exactly. That's why I said at the end of the day, he probably will make my top 10 for sure. Right now, I'm not there yet. That's all I'm saying. Because I agree with everything that was said. Just for me personally, I'm not putting him there yet, but he's like 11, 12. So, I mean, come on. I'm not too far off with you guys.
Okay.
And somebody who is very far off was this next guy. Now, I've come to become a Tyler Hero fan. You guys watched it on this show. I went from calling this man Kyle Kuzma East to now giving Kyle Kuzma, even though he has a championship, I'm calling him still Tyler Hero West because Tyler Hero just came in. He was just before our eyes blossomed into a great young player in his rookie season. But let me tell you something I'm not going to do. What we not going to do, sorry, Jackie Ray, what we not going to do is have his whole smirk face tattooed on my chest that for the rest of my life.
Oh, no. No.
Please.
That is terrible.
Horrible.
Here's the funny thing, though. If he gains weight,
yes,
that tattoo over his nipple is going to be, he's going to look like Peter Griffin. He's going to look like Peter Griffin if he gains weight. That is terrible.
Tyler going to gain the weight with him for sure.
Looks like a chubby Tyler Hero itself.
Yeah.
That looks like a pick. That looks like Kevin Love before he lost all that weight.
Before he lost the weight?
Oh, no!
Yeah, man. Look, I respect Tyler Hero. I think he had a great season, but never, ever, ever could I do that. No. And then looking at that's over his heart, too. Like, that's too far, my guy. Too far. Way too far. Not for me.
That is
heart's right
terrible.
Here. You know what I mean? Yeah, not a fan. No. Something else I'm going to have to take the L on. Not really take the L because I was just doing it out of selfishness, but I'll take the L because of the argument I had. The ladies were right. So, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and clap it up for the ladies. Ladies were correct once again. We found out the news that, yes, Le'Veon Bell indeed decided to go with the Chiefs. So, therefore, the Twitter detectives, defining the fact that they followed each other and all that stuff was enough because that was the deciding factor for sure where the two ended up becoming teammates. And now he is a part of the Chiefs. So, you see Kansas City, #Chiefs Kingdom. Thank you for the opportunity. Let's go. Now, like I said, I wasn't completely against it. I just didn't want it because I wanted him on my team. I'm just being selfish. So It was really more of me being selfish more than me not thinking that it was completely out of the realm of possibility. But look at him now. The team's about to be stacked again, so whoop-de-woo. But, congratulations, Le'Veon Bell. Hopefully we'll get to see more of the Le'Veon Bell of old rather than New York Jets. Le'Veon
Bell. Do you believe it now? Do you believe that it's follows and that it is real estate?
I'm not ready to give up I'm not ready to give in on the real estate one just yet. The real estate, I'm not ready to give in yet. We got it.
Devin was looking at her ends like, are my ends split? That was the best moment. I cannot.
Be on your toes, Devin Howard. Be on your toes.
Both sides, though, like, am I conditioning properly?
I'm done.
Oh, God. That's great.
God.
Oh, my gosh. That was great.
So what was your answer, Chris?
I didn't remember the question. What was the question?
I didn't remember the question. I don't even remember.
Now with the follow-throughs and the real estate stuff. Is that
I'm willing to play along. I'm willing to play along with the follow-up. I'm not ready for real estate. I'm not ready to I'm not playing the real estate game yet. I'm not doing that one yet.
I think real estate is more reliable than follows. I do think real estate is more reliable than follows. I think that I know that there is truth to the follow situation. I just didn't know that it was I didn't think that it was going to be a sure thing. That's what I wanted to say about that. But you guys are right. Got to give it to you.
So without saying it, Devin Howard just confirmed that Bradley Beal will be a Laker. She just confirmed right there, or a Clipper. She just confirmed it right there because if that's the case, then there it is. You just confirmed it. Real estate, you just confirmed it.
Is getting traded. He's a free agent. This rule does only work.
So it only has to be free agents. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, if that's the rule, then that's different. All right. So then, if that's the rule, then I'm gonna have to consider because we got Devin Booker who sold his house, and okay, all right. I'll consider it. We'll get back to it.
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
If it's just for okay, all right, we'll talk. Okay, I'll get back to you on that one. That's different. But something else that I'm a fan of is Gary Payton. We were talking about Sam Cassell, other coaching possible coaches for all these open teams. The Pelicans are still looking for a coach. Rockets are looking for a coach, so on and so forth. And Gary Payton, there's rumors and there's murmurs around the league that Gary Payton wants to get in the league. He wants to coach at the professional level. Now, he was coaching at the Big Three. I watched the Big Three, and he was doing a hell of a job coaching the three-headed monsters. 2018. Yeah, so 2017, he got the team to the championship game. They did not win. The following year, they went 7-1, which was incredible because that team was not as good as some of the other teams that were put together in the Big Three. Yeah, I watched it. I just love basketball. Don't judge me in the chat. But Gary Payton had his moments, man. If you guys know old school Gary Payton, the basketball player, he was the same dude as a coach that he was as a player. If you do not believe me, here's an entire clip of him going at it with Dante Jones, who is playing while Gary Payton is coaching. Check out this clip.
You're going to be my cheerleader. That's what you're going to be. My cheerleader. Boy, you ain't talking about nothing. You ain't nothing. Boy, all you do is run around and suck on everybody else. Sucker. You a sucker.
Good players.
Yes. Please go to the
Not over. Go
that.
to his face.
Keep laying water on your ass. Get it back. You're weak. Weak ass. Get your weak ass out of here.
Can you imagine Gary Payton and Michael Jordan going at it on the court? I used to see it.
Yeah, it happened. It happened, Reggie. It happened. So all I'm saying is, look, Ben Simmons has been the topic of this entire post-up, so I'm going to continue with that. Doc, hit him up, man. Hit from one point guard to another. Hit up Gary Payton and get him on the staff. Because, look, Ben Simmons is going to learn to shoot the threes with Gary Payton in his ear, okay? We get him on the staff. Get him on the staff. But I would love to see Gary Payton coach. I think that would be great. I think, and I was hearing Britt saying in the background, the young dudes, they need something like this. They need something like this. There ain't nobody like this right now in the league. There's some that are playing, but as far as coaching, they need something like this. So, yeah, I would love to see Gary Payton coaching at the next level for sure. But before I end up post up, I want to talk about the ratings, because we talked about the NBA's ratings and how they're competing against the NFL, specifically in Game 6 of the NBA Finals compared to that Vikings-Seahawks game. Well, we had a full rundown of how the ratings are looking, and it's not just the NBA's ratings that were taking a huge hit. I mean, to the surprise of nobody, because sports time is just all over the place, and people probably don't know how to follow along or where to follow along and stuff like that, like Jackie had mentioned. But yeah, the NBA is going through it, but a lot of other sports are going through it just as bad. This tweet came out from Sports Media Watch. He tweeted out this saying, NBA playoff viewership declines 37% from last year compared to a 38% decline for the Stanley Cup playoffs and a 40% decline for the MLB Division Series. Now then, moving to the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals viewership went down 49% from last year compared to a 61% decline from the Stanley Cup. So that is damn near nobody was watching the Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. And we have a full rundown for the entirety of sports right now compared to this time this time last year for these sports series. The Stanley Cup is number one with a 61% drop, and that's the final. That's not the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's the finals. And then going down, from U.S. Open, NBA Finals is up there 49%. But if you look down, right now NFL is doing okay with only going down 13%. That's not too bad, especially with NFL making. To me, I feel like it's a bigger leap for them to be trying to fight against social injustice. I think it was a bigger leap for them to, at least have those on the field and whatnot, and having the commercials, having the players speak out, which is out of the ordinary. And it only took a 13% hit, which is surprising to me. But what I loved about this, if you look real closely, if you look at the green, look at the WNBA Finals. Look at them moving on up. Look at them. And
yes, Queens.
Right, and even their regular season, they only took a 16% hit too. Like, go ahead, WNBA. I like to see that. So, yeah. So for those who are ready to just clown the NBA, saying that, oh man, you can do all this stuff, but you ain't getting no ratings. Well, they aren't the only one because there's a lot of big. The U.S. Open is not a small sport, and they went down 45%. So there's all kinds of crazy ratings that went down just because the times are just different right now because it's all out of whack and everything that's going on behind the scenes. But yeah, so is this a surprise to anybody? Britt Johnson, seeing these ratings, is any of these a surprise to you at all?
I think it's funny because the whole rhetoric around everything is like, oh, if you guys do the Black Lives Matter stuff, we're not going to watch. WNBA did more Black Lives Matter than anybody, and their viewership went up. The Stanley Cup did the least amount, and their viewership went down the most. So I think that shows there's more people that are supporting Black Lives Matter than there are the loud, small group of clowns that are against it. Like, you guys clearly do not affect what happens in this stuff, which I thought is great. That's what I was surprised to see, and I'm happy to see that. That was a good surprise.
Yeah. Shout out to WNBA on that. But yeah. So it's everyone's taking a hit right now, and it's just because of the times. But do not fret, NBA fans. It is okay. We'll see what happens now with this next season. But that's it for me here on Post Up. We had our fun, and I'm gonna let Jackie take it over.
All right, Jackie, tell us what we not gonna do.
All right, guys, once again, it's your girl, Jackie Ray. We're going to walk down this What We Not Gon Do road together. I think it was Chris. One of you guys told us about it yesterday, about Mo Spates, talking about, saying what he said. He posted this tweet yesterday about, the 3 times. Yeah, this one. Back then we used to celebrate 3-peats or whatever. So let me just clue y'all into a little thing. Mo started with the 76ers in 2008. He went to Memphis in 2011. 2012, he was with Toronto, then back to Memphis, then to Cleveland. He didn't win with the Golden State Warriors in 2015, but you might have forgotten that because he was inactive through most of that, through the finals anyway. He had a brief stint with the Clippers, and then he retired from the NBA in Orlando in 2018. But now he's in China. So that's where he went to play in China. Now, he hasn't had this whole 17 going on 18 seasons in the league. He couldn't really stay in the league, so he had to venture on over to China. But nevertheless, he felt like it was okay to frame his mouth and tweet this nonsense, and he got dragged for it. So I'm very excited to see some of these tweets. This first one actually had Mo in his feelings because he responded back to it. He said, reality of it is you must be a good person, but you are a shitty ball player, always out of shape. You were a bench warmer your whole career. Keep broad name out your mouth, you bum. Keep that for the greats, something you will never be. And then Mo tweeted back, damn, I made it 10 strong years. Thanks for that. So he's obviously in his feelings about that one. And then I love this one where the guy actually had to remind Mo of what he did in the finals against the Cleveland Cavaliers when LeBron was playing there. And he said that Mo was 4 for 18 and just averaging 2 points a game in the 2016 finals. Mo didn't respond to that, but the tweets just go on and on and on and on and on and on. Like, I was like, I could just throw all these tweets on here, but I didn't want to do that. So apparently, oh boy, got in his feelings, and now he's trying to walk it back, and he's trying to be on some old, respect your elders type vibe. It's ridiculous. But he said, quote, the reason I tweeted that is because it feels like the younger generation is disrespecting and forgetting the older players who paved the way, especially Michael Jordan. For me, being an NBA player and watching him as I was growing up, you can't do that, bro. That's disrespecting the game. LeBron is a beast. He's the best athlete who ever played the game of basketball. But if we're talking about mindsets, Kobe Bryant was a killer, man. That's a killer. Just like Michael Jordan was a killer, they would intimidate their opponent and get in their head. LeBron puts in a lot of work and has an excellent career, but Michael Jordan and Kobe are ahead of him, in my opinion. As of right now, my order is Michael Jordan at number 1, Kobe at number 2, and LeBron at number 3. But that's as of right now. That is a long walk back. that was too long of a walk back for me, because I'm thinking, you know what? That's a damn near a dissertation. That's like you trying to graduate from college. That was way too long. You can just go ahead and pick up that Rosetta Stone and get better at Chinese, because you're going to have to be over there for a while. You did not have to do this long walk back for us. But, good luck on getting them 3 wings in China. Britt, do you have anything to say about this walk back? It seems kind of long. Is it too long?
Yeah,
Is this a say less moment?
No, yeah, it's definitely a say less moment. Like you said, what you already said at the beginning, just leave it at that. You don't have to actually go down and break everything down. Like we all understand, we all know that there's different GOATs. We all know what Kobe was, Jordan, like what, just say less, my guy, say less.
Devin, my fellow Laker fan, was that too long? Or Kitty just said, I think everybody has their own GOAT. I might have said that, like everybody has their own GOAT. Devin, my fellow Laker fan, I just want to ask you what you think about the long ass 5-page walk back.
It's completely unnecessary. I thought the second tweet that he posted after posting that meme where he was like, no shots at Braun, I thought that was too much. If you're going to say something like that, if you're going to post something like that, leave it up there, say it, let people come at you and say whatever they want to say, but don't like walk back and then be like, LeBron's the greatest, but he's not quite great enough. It's just like, stop.
Right.
And I like this. I like when people talk. I like it when they feed the drama, but this was just dumb.
Yeah, say it with your chest and then don't say nothing else, as my dad would say. All right, so let's get into some of these rumor mills. We've been talking about it all day, and yesterday I told you that Rondo is testing the market. I definitely hope he resigns, but at the same time, anytime somebody tests the market, you as a team, you have to be prepared for them to not come back, and I think that's what the Lakers will probably do. But the rumor mill is saying that we might get Chris Paul. I don't know if that's a thing. I mean, maybe, but according to Hoop Central, it's all depending on LeBron. They posted this tweet to their Twitter that says LeBron could facilitate it, and they said according to league executives on the possibility of the Lakers pursuing a Chris Paul trade, Chris Paul would love to come back to LA. I know it would be a dream come true for Chris. I know LeBron loves and trusts him, and he would be a good fit. Fun fact, though, they didn't tell us what executive said this, so, there's that. But I actually, of course, I would love Chris Paul here. I'm a big Chris Paul fan. I think he is the point god, as we all call him. But there's a lot of moving pieces to that, and I just hate when these rumors start flying around. For me, if you could, you keep KCP, Rajon, AD, Dwight, JaVale, Markieff Morris, and Alex Caruso. Everybody else is on the line. Everybody else can go. But Chris Paul has a 2-year, $85.6 million contract. So that is a lot. And I'm not a money person, but that's a lot of money. So I just don't personally see it happening. But I guess I'm not thinking outside the box, because if we could throw up the tweet from this one Laker fan that has figured out a way to make it happen. He says, do we have that tweet, Leo? All right, maybe not. So he says, if the Lakers can convince Chris Paul and LeBron to take a $4 million pay cut each, they could make the deal and they would be under the luxury tax. And he reminds us that LeBron and Dwayne Wade took a pay cut in Miami to form the Big Three. So that's a possibility. Again, I'm not the money person, but the contract of Chris Paul puts this out of reach for me. Another guy on Twitter said the Lakers could buy out from OKC and then take the minimum. The buyout will suffice. And then he said trade Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma for Zach LaVine and re-sign Cousins, Howard, KCP, and Markieff and Rondo. I actually like that idea, but I don't understand. I don't know why they would trade their best or do a buyout on their best trading asset. That doesn't make sense either. And that's a huge contract. So I just don't see any of this happening. If it did, I'd be down with it. But Chris, do you see any financial way possible we could make this LA thing and Chris Paul work?
The first scenario is literally the only thing I can think of is a trade and the possibility of both LeBron James or maybe just Chris Paul taking down more out of his contract. That's the only way. There is no way in hell the Oklahoma City Thunder are buying out Chris Paul's contract.
Right.
The team would only be able to play with 10 players next season because they would be in so much money. They're not a big market. They can't do that. Right. And like you said, that is the possibility for them to get tons of assets. And we can talk about Sam Presti all we want. The one thing Sam Presti knows how to do is every time he punches himself in the face, he's able to recover right off the bat because he always does something crazy for the Oklahoma City Thunder. So I think there is a possibility. I'm not a Laker fan, but I do like this for them. I think because Rondo was such a good piece for them, especially in the playoffs.
Mhm.
I think you're getting that. It's no shade to Rondo. I just think you're getting that and some if you add Chris Paul to that tandem
Right.
with LeBron, AD, and other stuff. But yeah, you're going to have to give up a lot to get that because that contract, as you mentioned, is $80-some million for the next 2 years.
Look, I love it, but what I'm not going to do is pretend that I'm the money person, because when I just look at numbers that big, I just say no and keep moving. So that's why I'm not a GM somewhere, because I'm like, can't do it. Let's move. So
that's the right mindset.
Right. If it seems weird, I'm just going to move on. But we'll see. I love the rumors. They're fun to talk about, but there's a lot of things that got to happen. So I'm not going to give any value to any rumors right now. But that's all I got. And now it is time for Britt's takes.
Britt's takes.
All right, we are going to be real quick today, but this one I had to share with you guys. I think it is literally what every single rookie going into the NFL needs to watch. It should be a part of, they have their rookie mini camp at the beginning of the season, and I think this should be one of the first videos they watch. Leo, let's just roll this clip now and get this party started, because this is classic, epic advice from the one and only Chad Johnson, aka Ocho Cinco.
Being cheap with the jewelry and the watches. I know I talked to you before about never really buying anything real. Everything was always replica. Nothing was ever real. As far as always. Like, small example. People would always ask, even current athletes today, like, is it serious? Some of the stuff that I've seen documented, is it true that you bought everything replica and it wasn't real? I say, yeah, there was no point, because the women have already done their Googles. So there's really no need, and there's nobody to impress. I can get the same, like Hard Knocks, where I got my earrings from Claire's.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you guys all remember when he was with the Bengals and was on Hard Knocks, they had asked him, like, oh, you got these big diamond blingy earrings. Okay, baller. He's like, I got these at Claire's. And like, that was like, people thought he was joking, but he was serious. He really got his earrings from Claire's, and apparently his whole entire, all his jewelry, everything he wore, the big chains, because we know Ocho Cinco was a very flashy guy on and off the field. Like, we all remember his little dances and stuff when he was playing football, and then we all remember after the fact when he got off the field, he was always looking like he was oiled up and blinging, and it was all fake. And I literally love this. He also went on later to say, somebody was like, they had asked him, like, oh, how much is your watch? And I think Brandon Marshall was like, oh, like 60 or whatever it was, $1,000. And then he was like, what time is it? And then he said the time, and then he like looked, and he was like, how much does time cost? And he's like, it's free or whatever. And then he's like, why am I paying for something that's free? I don't need to pay for a $60,000 watch that's just going to tell me the time, because time is free. So I just love his mindset around this whole thing, because we see so many NFL players shortly after they retire, they go into bankruptcy, they are all broke. And it's really sad to see, because you're like, how does a guy that has so many millions and millions of dollars end up broke? But it's because everybody is trying to keep up with the Joneses. You see the guys in their first 4 years of their contract, if they're like, some stars, yes, if you've been, like I said before, the first to the 10th pick in the NFL draft, you are getting big millions. After that, by the time you even get to the end of the first round of the draft, their contracts are only about $2 million. So it is a huge gap just in the first draft, or the first round alone, as far as pay is concerned. And then after that, most of these guys are only making league minimum, which we know is $330,000. Yes, it's going to be going up in the future, but it's not that much money. And you take into account taxes and all this kind of stuff, and then people just automatically thinking you have money and stuff. And at the end of the day, they're making maybe like $100,000 that they're actually taking home with them, that they didn't like give to their mama, their uncle, or grandma, or whoever's asking for money, because now they're in the league and making all this money. And they literally are trying to keep up with the Joneses, the Russell Wilsons and the Patrick Mahomeses of the league that are making the big dollars, and most NFL players are not making that money. And then we see there's injuries that happen all the time where those contracts for NFL are not guaranteed. There are NBA players I know. I remember Matt Barnes telling me literally couple years after he had already retired from the league, he was still getting checks from the Sacramento Kings because they cut him. If you cut a player, they still have to pay you out for your full contract. So you're literally getting like money even though you're not on the team anymore. So don't ever feel bad for an NBA player that was cut. He's still getting his money. NFL players, they don't make their money like that. So just to hear like Chad Ochocinco, he's back to Chad Johnson now, say something like that and how he kind of like lived, because we all thought he was a super glitzy, like probably running around crazy kind of like guy, but to see that he was actually being really smart with his money and now to this day says that he is very successful and he doesn't have to worry about money. And we all know he has, you know, quite a few kids himself and stuff, and he's able to handle all his kids and take care of his situations because he was like smart. And, you know, like you said, the ladies have already Googled me. They already know I'm Chad Johnson, so they're not going to even question me on what's real. I actually had a girlfriend, I'm going to say really quick. She, her dude asked her to use fake, like wear fake purses or whatever, like fake Louis bags, Chanel bags or whatever. And then at first she was like, what? Like, why would I use fake bags? And then he was just like, I mean, no one's going to question if it's real because like you're with me. So they're going to assume it's real. And like, what is the difference if it's real or fake to you? Like, you're just getting the bag because you're trying to look cool and fit in. But if people already think you have money, they're not going to question if the bag's real or fake. So I think it's like, I mean, that kind of stuff like that. And like the image of trying to keep up with the Joneses, but not really doing it by spending the money. Like that is the perfect solution to all these like football players' issues. You don't need to buy the $10,000 diamond earrings. Go to Claire's, get you some $5 earrings, and nobody's going to question you because you are in the NFL. Like that is just like drops mic. Good job, Ocho Cinco. I hope some of these young guys listen to that because I thought that was so funny. I don't have any questions because we're over time already, but yeah, I just thought that was a dope moment that I wanted to share because I did not, like, I thought he was always joking when he said he got his jewelry from Claire's, but no, he was serious. And I thought that was dope.
You know what they say, you don't become a millionaire by spending money. So saving is cool, everybody. I think that this is a great mentality.
Yep.
And I like that. I like hearing that. All right, you guys. Well, let's wrap up the show. I am ready for the weekend. So make sure you subscribe, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below, wash your hands, wear a mask, and have a great weekend, you guys. Don't spend too much money. Bye.
Are you gonna deep condition those split ends, y'all? Deep condition those ends. Don't forget.
So I can do it. I don't have long hair like that. So,
Oh, that was hilarious.